good. Takes us to item 13, clear hold build, update and future plans, pages 80 to 86 of your pack. Councillor Charles, I think you're proposing that, and I'll second that. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. It's really great to be moving this report tonight on the clear hold build project and the updates and future plans that this council has. Clearly, one of the council's priorities is to tackle crime head-on, and working with Essex Police, as we have done targetedly over several months to support the initiative in the Stow, good progress has been made. This report is a bolt-on to that activity and to highlight that the council and its various departments want to go further and support the community in the Stow, the residents and business owners that form that proud community. Of course, it's important to set the legislative scene for why the council is taking this action. Section 17 of the Crime Disorder Act 98 clearly places a duty on councils for them to consider the crime and disorder implications of its day-to-day activities. And as part of that, we were very pleased to form the partnership that we did with Essex Police, health colleagues, range of charities and other partners to push forward the Clear Hold Build initiative. I think it's important in this meeting just to explain what Clear Hold Build means very briefly. It's a Home Office approved tactic that has been used elsewhere in the country. Those three phases are really important. You have the clear phase, which is about restoring community confidence. Already, as part of this initiative, Essex Police have carried out 22 search warrants and have disrupted organised crime groups, which are a theme in this report. There's clearly the hold and build phase, which is a particular priority in this report, because one, it's about making sure that after you have dealt with the immediate issues of crime in a local community, you don't create a vacuum for others to occupy it. And then, of course, it's about forming partnerships, building public confidence that the council and its various partners that are supporting this initiative will keep going on into the long term. So as part of this paper, what we have also set out is plans to put forward an indicative funding allocation of £100,000. Now, part of unlocking that £100,000, the council will be undertaking a business case. That business case will be drawn up by what is termed in this report as an internal operations group. That operations group, which you will see visualised in Appendix A and with the list, shows the various departments that will be involved from an internal perspective in taking forward this work. And actually the first operations group meeting they will be meeting actually on Monday to kickstart that activity so that they can set a clear internal intention to support external partners to carry out what is now called Safe to Go Stow. I've been really pleased with the activity that's been undertaken. Obviously at the weekend we had the community hub opening and councillors of all different political colours were there. It was great to see the community coming together. A good showing by Essex Police and other partners at that event on Saturday. But underneath that, what is particularly important is the fact that even young people in the local community have been involved. And I'm really pleased that Cooks Spinney Primary Academy were able to help get us a slogan, Safe to Go Stow, but also put together the logo for the initiative and what it stands for in the long term. And it's getting that community stamp of approval that is particularly important. So what you've got before you today is a plan by this council, one, to set out some indicative budget, but two, get the internal mechanics right for if we want to take forward other clear hold build initiatives in the town. The main strategic focus alongside the council's mission to protect communities is quite simply to say to criminal organised groups they will not have a foothold in this town. The council and its partners and the community will stand up against those sorts of issues. Just want to end by just doing a few thank yous. First of all, I want to thank Philip Dart, who has brought his experience in the criminal justice space, community safety, his experience with the work pulling together not only this report but other work he's been doing with the community safety team has been outstanding, and we're really grateful for his contribution. I think it's important to reflect that in the fact that the majority of the work put into this report has been conducted by him, and the council is grateful for his support in taking this work forward and the engagement he's already had with councillors and the community. It was also good to, in advance of this meeting, brief the ward councillors in Mark Hall. They are clearly and rightly taking an interest in this area, and the intention, of course, is to make sure that those representatives are fully involved in the process going forward. We want a full community effort to stamp out organised crime groups in our community. So this is, I think, a positive step forward by the council. It's an intention to stamp out not only crime but antisocial behaviour. And I look forward to questions from members. Thank you, Chair.
Very good, thank you. Questions? Councillor Lepard?
Yes, thank you. I'm sure we all very much welcome this initiative. And my question is, possibly answered in part on page 81, other options, point B. Often we see when there is an increased police presence or a particular initiative to drive down crime or antisocial behaviour in a particular location, it displaces it to another location. And you have obviously recognised that in that point B. My question is, does Harlow have, let's say, the resources to, let's say, manage many areas at once? Because it will always require more police presence.
I think that's a really important question, Councillor Lepard. Clearly, one of the reasons why we targeted the Stow in the first place was the fact that Essex Police recognised that the Stow, according to its own figures and crime reporting, was at that time the ASB hotspot. That ASB hotspot has since moved to the Gates area of the town centre, which is to the back of us. That's the reason why they targeted that area. But also, one of the other intentions of this Clear Hole Build initiative is to focus on regeneration as well. So as well as dealing with the crime and antisocial behaviour element, we're also looking at regeneration. Now that, in slower time, will have to be addressed as part of the municipal budget planning, and I don't want to anticipate what you want to announce in future, Councillor Lepard, but clearly there's an intention there to, if we're going to build public confidence in the Stow, we can't just deal with the crime and antisocial behaviour. We've got to actually deal with the long list of issues that residents want resolved. That is the key way to restore that confidence in a community that is incredibly proud and has welcomed the fact that the police and the council and other partners have taken such decisive action.
Come to... Councillor O'Dell first.
I was going to let you. I was just watching you squirm. So I just wanted to start off by expressing thank you for your initial briefing last week with myself, Councillor Houlihan and Councillor Shears about the launch. One of the questions I had, most of the questions you actually answered, so I'm not going to bore everyone with them today. But how are we going to communicate to members of the local public who and when different agencies and partners will be using the shopfront or the hub?
Yeah, that's a really important question. And so on Tuesday there was a follow-up meeting that one of our health colleagues who's been actively involved in. It's important to know Ian Tomkinson, who is a programme director for the local NHS provision here, is actively involved because, of course, crime and social behaviour and the link to wellbeing is well documented. There are a range of discussions ongoing around who is going to be in the hub. Obviously, this week, police officers have been in there manning it. There is the intention of Citizens Advice to have someone stationed there, and we're sorting out the timings with them. There is the intention for Mind to go in there. We're going to have youth services involved in the hub as well. On top of that, there's mental health support, wider mental health, so not just what Mind provides, but specifically men's mental health. And so there will be some classes that will be dedicated to specific issues, as well as some first aid training and so on. What we want to make sure is that there is relevant enough agencies in that hub that keeps bringing people to come and visit it. And it's all about the 3 o'clock in the afternoon test for me, to make sure that if someone's in the Stow going shopping, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but the hub is still open, and they know they can go in there and report something if there's a concern. So that timetable not only is the agreement that we made with some of the residents on Tuesday to post it on the window in the hub, but also communicate it via social media. The operations group of the council on Monday is considering how we go about doing that in short order, because we just want to make sure that not only those agencies are using it, but the community take ownership of it as well.
Yeah,
I do have another question, thank you. And in terms of any other community meetings that I hadn't appreciated your comment earlier where you said you're going to make sure that local councillors are engaged and involved. Just a small request, because people are going to come to you first as a portfolio holder, if I can just request that you extend any invitations to us as councillors for the area as well. Thank you. Yes,
the intention is any of those meetings. Forgive me, on Tuesday that meeting wasn't my meeting. I was all of a sudden invited to it, and I'm pleased that I was. But wherever possible, the 3 ward councillors will be involved, because we need you there to be working with the residents, your own elected residents, to make sure that we see this as a community success above any political consideration.
Yeah, come to Councillor Garnett first, then Councillor Shell.
Thank you, Leader. Couple of questions. Councillor Leopard took the one I was thinking of initially, which is the knock-on effect to other areas, which is concern to local areas. There's 2 things really. It's a very thorough report, and I think it's got warts and all on it, I think, which is what we as local councillors have to put up with. And, are you getting enough support from the police to help? Because obviously they're the people that will, I suppose, have the biggest say in it, if that's the right word, rather than, they can arrest people. And is there anything we can do? You've got face coverings, which is obviously one of the things which I think a lot of councils, not only in Harlow, but throughout the country, have a problem with, is they go face covers or balaclavas, so their identity is unrecognisable. And I suppose the final part to my question, is there any evidence they're coming in from outside the town?
Thank you. 3 really important questions. First of all, on police support, this is a Home Office-backed initiative. Essex Police are fully behind it. It's the first in the county. And I have to say, I have to pay tribute to our district commander, who I think has done 4 years in this town. That's unusual for a district commander, and shows how well of a job that he is doing. And I also have to pay tribute to the local inspector, at the risk of embarrassing her, Leanne, who has been fantastic as well. They are absolutely behind this scheme. They see the benefit. You only have to look at my opening remarks and the 22 search warrants they've undertaken in the last 6 months to show that this is an opportunity for them to smash organised crime groups that are active in the Stow. In terms of face coverings, as it happens, the Harlow Safer Partnership board meeting took place today, and we were presented by some of the images in the Stow of young people with balaclavas and machetes. Some of those individuals were rightly caught by the police and have been dealt with. That is a particular problem that has been flagged, and that's why youth services will be so integral to the work going forward, to make sure that we work with young people, engage with them, and try and divert them from some of the criminal activity that we've seen in the past. In terms of your broader point around evidence and are individuals coming from other parts of, say, Harlow, West Essex, other areas, to be involved in criminal activity in the Stow, I wouldn't want to get into the mechanics of the police operation and their decision-making and intelligence picture, but clearly organised crime groups have been involved in the Stow. Requisite activity has been undertaken to deal with some of those links. I think that it's a mixed picture, and the reason why I'm showing caution in answering that question is that I think it's quite a complex picture that involves local and regional and national actors.
Councillor Shepherd.
Thank you, Chair, and apologies for that slight disruption. I hope you won't mind me asking, as I draw my eyes to Appendix A on page 85, would the portfolio holder consider separating the two functions of education and youth voice, because they are, of course, two very broad and encompassing themes? And furthermore, would he consider my suggestion of including Harlow Youth Council as a contingent of the council's operation group in its own right? I think it's such an integral part of this council and its engagement with young people that it does deserve its own bullet point. He mentioned, I'll leave it there as a question.
I welcome that. That's a good challenge, Councillor. I agree with your point on the Harlow Youth Council. I think the intention around the education stroke youth voice was a high-level catch-all. There will be a separation in the activity that's undertaken. In a table that's designed of this nature at high level, you could appreciate that there are probably more subheadings that we could put into it. But on this occasion, we decided to lump certain topics together because it was a strategic table. Your point is well made, and there is a separation in activity. And I'm very happy if you want to meet officers to discuss what that looks like, you're the more than welcome to do so.
Thank you, Chair, and I'll take the portfolio holder up on that offer. Thank you.
Councillor O'Dell.
Thank you. Slightly two-pronged question. I recognise we've got the hold part of it, which is kind of making sure that there is a long-term success for it as well. After the project has closed, have we any plans for extending the usage of the hub in the area, as well? I know that we are looking at expanding to other areas within the town as well. Are we going to look back in several years' time as well? Have we got plans for that to confirm whether or not it continues to be a success afterwards? And I think that it's the council that owns the hub shopfront, is that right?
Very good. In terms of your first point, absolutely. If you look at, I urge members to look at the questions posed that will form part of the interrogation around the business case assumption. So what we're looking at is obviously evidence to quantify impact. Does the proposal have community support? Are there no existing council budgets that could be used to deploy to support the Stow's Clear Hole Build initiative or potentially future initiatives if there is a decision to undertake them? In terms of the shop front, my understanding is that it's, I just want to clarify, Philip. I don't know if you know, I think we rent it. I'm sure we rent it, but that's a point that we can come back to you on. I'm sure we rent it.
Just on that, we own the unit. Yeah. Further questions?
Yep.
Councillor Carter.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I've got two questions. They're both on page 83 under section 7. First one is on 7D, lack of things for children and young people to do. This has been raised in this council ever since I've been here. People are always complaining that there isn't things for children and young people to do. What initiatives are we actually proposing to do something about this, and will that also involve the Youth Council?
One of the core elements is youth engagement. Obviously, you've quoted from the report that specific bullet point around a lack of opportunities for young people to do something. There are two elements to this. First of all, there's the education piece that we want to engage young people with. we need to take some time to think about how we want to do that to keep them engaged and be interested in the activities that are going on at the Stow. But secondly, are there any particular activities that will engage them, not directly in an educational capacity, but if we use the support of youth services to get them involved in other initiatives that are linked to the Clear Whole Build initiative, they potentially will take ownership of parts of this project as well. So it's two-pronged. It will involve the youth services being involved in this activity as well, but that will form part of the business case assumption that the operations group is going to pull together. The point's already been made rightly by the opposition around the Youth Council's engagement. One of their priorities, of course, the Youth Council, is the impact of crime of young people in town, and we've all heard their stories about some of the issues that they face. This will be an opportunity for them to act as ambassadors to work with their age group to win hearts and minds. That's going to be part of the battle to keep the long-term objectives of this Clear Whole Build initiative a success.
Yep, another question.
Thank you for that, Councillor Charles. My second question is same page but E. Bicycles, mopeds, motorbikes, and I assume that's e-scooters we're talking about, not just scooters, in pedestrianised areas. I noticed that in London they seem to be doing something about these problems, but here in Harlow, even today in the Water Gardens, I was passed by a bicycle going very quickly. We don't seem to be getting to grips with bicycles and e-scooters travelling very fast around the town centre. I don't use too many other areas, but I'm sure it must be the same. What are we really going to do about this to get it under control?
As colleagues will know, the police, Harlow's community policing team has carried out operations to deal with e-scooters and those vehicles used on pedestrian highways that cause an obstruction and can be quite concerning for people, particularly people with limited mobility who are trying to navigate the public highway and footpaths. The police already have considered how their tactics need to change to deal with that sort of issue. It's been identified as part of the Clear Whole Build initiative because you've got that vast pedestrianised centre in the Stow, but you know, do be assured that the district commander is aware and that the police have carried out operations to confiscate particularly e-scooters that are causing a nuisance in pedestrianised areas.
Mr Saggers, then Councillor Gunn.
Chair, at this point, as it's been mentioned twice, I'd like to declare an interest. The Youth Council has been mentioned twice, and obviously I have a family member who's on the council.
I presume that's your son rather than anyone else, but Councillor Gunn, your interest is noted. Yep.
Thank you, and it's good to know that there's a strong pipeline of Saggerses for the future for Harlow and for the council. I wanted to draw out a bit actually the point that was raised by Councillor O'Dell about the ownership the council has of the Stow and of the units there, and to link that with paragraph 6, point A, about the evidence that will be used to help quantify the impact this will have. And the question would be whether that evidence will be economic. There's so many parts to this, and one of them, of course, is we want people to go to the Stow for their shopping. We want the shops there to be thriving and vibrant and successful. And insofar as the council owns much of the Stow, we want to make sure that our units are regularly let out and attractive places to come and do business. Will the economic impact be part of the evidence used to consider whether this approach has succeeded or not?
Yeah, as you can imagine, with a business case assumption like this, that's based on achieving community value, there will be various tests that the operations group will agree on, one being a version of an local economic test, coupled with how we're going to achieve community safety, coupled with a well-being test, because clearly our health partners will want to measure that, because this is quite a novel and unique initiative that they have been involved with as well. So there'll be a range of tests. I fully expect that as part of future evaluation of the Clear Whole Build scheme, there will be an element of quantitative and qualitative assessments to measure the success of it going forward anyway.
Further questions? Councillor Edwards.
part of the question, part of the comment. When they first started...
We'll come to comments next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is it a question?
Yeah, the question is an audit being done of organisations and groups, etc., that are currently within the Stow area? One thinks, for example, there's a boxing club nearby, there's a community association, there's guides going on, there are a whole number of sort of different activities. And I just, ask that to be taken on board.
I was too quick there. Yes, the short answer is yes. I'll just give you an example. The police went round to all of the small businesses in the Stow, and it may surprise you that the majority of them didn't have access to Townlink. And so they're getting them all signed up to Townlink so they can all communicate with each other and with the police if there are any issues. So it's small but significant changes like that will also make a difference. But clearly the other community organisations, they're being approached as well. This is about achieving a holistic approach to dealing with crime and antisocial behaviour.
Any further questions? No? Comments? Councillor Shears.
Thank you for this report. We're really pleased to see this going on in the Stow and really look forward to it, being a success. I'd like to put on record our thanks to the people that have worked on it, so partners and particular officers on the council, yourself, and mostly the residents and the people that actually run businesses in the Stow, because I know that they've put a lot of time in as well, so I'd like to give our thanks to them as well. One of the things that I'd like to just emphasise really is the local community and ensuring that those things that they bring up are actually dealt with in a timely manner. I know it says so in the report, but it's really, really important that that happens so that they don't lose heart in what's going on. Thank you.
Any further comments? Councillor Edwards, yeah.
I know when the police were first started talking about this scheme, what they said was, as far as the Stow was concerned, as well as recognising there were issues, they also recognised that there were a number of strengths within the area, like the various organisations that I've just mentioned, as it were, that were around, like the community, say the community centre, the boxing club, etc. So I think that it's. My comment is, if you go around the Stow at the moment, you'll see about 20 Crime Stoppers notices plastered up all over the place. Now, on the one hand, that's great that people are being told about how to contact, etc., etc. On the other hand, there's a balance to be struck by putting notices up, and equally, so it's someone else coming in there thinking, gosh, what's going on around here? Because as far as the Stow is concerned, whilst at the one time it's an area that was been identified as having particular problems, on the other hand, as I say, I think we just need to hold clear that there is very much there is also a thriving community of people. One only has to think, for example, the way that the publican and the skipper very quickly said, well, you can utilise our premises for your meetings or whatever it may happen to be. There is a community there, and with a whole lot of strengths, and that needs to be held on to.
Any further comments? Councillor Saggers.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Charles, for the report. It's a big, meaty document. I look forward to obviously your chance to come to scrutiny in December with your fellow police colleagues to deep dive and to answer it, because I think it's quite a short time you've had to give all the information across in this forum, and hopefully we can give more data to the people and residents of Harlow out of the scrutiny committee from what we've looked at.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Leopard.
Yes, I also welcome this report, and I genuinely hope it is successful and serves as a great precedent to roll out across the town as and when needed. Thank you.
There being no further comments, back to you, Councillor Charles.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's been an important discussion, and I just want to again reiterate how grateful I am, not only to the partners who've been working positively to take this forward, Essex Police and in particular, but also the officers' work internally to get right how we stand up to support the local community in the Stow. That positive engagement clearly extends to the 3 ward councillors who are committed individuals who have worked positively with me in the past and are doing so now. And I welcome that, because this is about delivering real impact for a community that has been struggling to deal with crime and antisocial behaviours. So that is one of the standout positives of this work. The key is delivery, and Councillor Shears rightly pointed that out. We need to think about in the long term how we achieve that delivery. Part of that will be making sure that the thriving community of residents and business owners have confidence in the activity that's going forward, and the use of the hub and the use of tactics to try and ensure that organised crime that has previously had a foothold in that community isn't able to do that in future. I think it's right to reflect on future scrutiny around how the clear hole build scheme is going to perform. Essex Police have already given consideration to how they want to present that to colleagues on the scrutiny committee, and of course I look forward to that discussion. We had I think a very positive discussion around a very gritty subject, and that is of course domestic abuse, only a couple of weeks ago, and so I look forward to the positive engagement with the scrutiny committee going forward. Just end on this, at the end of the day, I think that it's really important to make sure that we recognise that this is a team effort. It's about partnership working to deal with what has been a real challenging situation for people in the Stow. Thank you, Chair.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Charles. Very quickly, just echo your thanks to everyone that's worked on this, and to you for leadership. I think it's, as you've set out and Councillor Shears mentioned, the focus on delivery and the action is only strengthened with the funding we're proposing tonight. And with that, are those recommendations, including that funding, on page 81 agreed by the Cabinet? Agreed. Very good. Takes us